take donor money and you serve donors. You guys are all crooks. So you notice what Dan said? He said, oh, we're going to do I think Trump is smart enough to do pro-growth. You know what that means? It means tax cuts for the rich that are all Dan's donors. And they were Kamala Harris's donors.
When you say
it's not a left-right issue.
That's Cenk right there calling out Dan Crenshaw over taking donor money to serve his donors a few months ago. And it seems like MAGA is finally opening their eyes to what Cenk has been saying. Even Catturd. Cenk, just weigh in initially.
Yeah, so as we talked about before in that same interview on Piers, the right-wing populist Vinny from Patrick Bet-David's show joined me in criticizing Dan Crenshaw, the Republican. So that's what realignment looks like. It's just the beginning of it. It's a tiny amount of it. But now, for those who are questioning, yeah, but at the end of the day, they're just gonna go suck up to the same politicians like Dan Crenshaw, who's a neocon, war hawk, etc. Now, I mean, it's funny that we have political conversations about a guy whose handle is Catturd, right?
It is.
But Catturd's one of the right wingers online. I'm sure we have massive disagreements, right? But now he's going after Dan Crenshaw because some of this establishment versus populist stuff on the right is real. So let's tell you the rest of that story.
Yeah, so for example, on Christmas Day, quote, Mayor of Macedonia, Josh Dunlap, tweeted out, the Federal Election Commission fined Rep. Dan Crenshaw's campaign committee $42,000 on Friday after finding it had accepted hundreds of thousands of dollars in illegal contributions. This is the latest in a series of ethical scandals for the second-term congressman. The commission found that Crenshaw's 2020 re-election campaign knowingly accepted $223,460 in an apparent excessive and prohibited contributions for the 2020 primary and general elections. Now, Crenshaw was not happy with this claim, tweeting back, LOL, this is news to me because it's a total lie. Amazing what you bottom feeders make up even on Christmas. What's wrong, Josh? No family to keep you company? Also, I'm in my third term, not my second. And then added, if you sad little trolls are gonna come after me, Christmas or not, at least have the balls to disagree with me on real things. But you've got nothing, so you make up lies. Turns out my entire record is being a hard right, Trump-supporting Republican. You just don't like that I call you out for your dishonesty, and I'm gonna keep doing it. Voters shouldn't trust these random click-chasing accounts. They literally sell their influence to the highest bidder. It's well known in politics. To clear things up, the report is real, but it's from December of 2022. According to the General Counsel's report, the agency found reason to believe that the Crenshaw campaign and its treasurer, Paul Kilgore, violated federal law by knowingly accepting excessive and prohibited corporate contributions totaling $223,460 during the 2020 election. The money came from 125 individuals, 2 PACs, 4 corporations, and 3 limited liability companies, the FEC said. According to FEC notices, the contributions included gifts from law firms, real estate entities, and a wealth management company. And the campaign didn't do a good job of returning or didn't want to return the contributions in a timely manner. The FEC sent the first of 4 notices in October 2020, and in December of that year, the campaign promised it would either return or redesignate the unlawful contributions, but the vast majority of the refunds and redesignations, more than $207,000 worth, were returned between 115 to 612 days late, well outside the 60-day grace period, according to the report. As of this May, the campaign still hadn't returned $3,200. As the report began to circulate once again over the course of Christmas Eve and Christmas Day, instead of spending time with his family, Dan went online in a warpath against his critics, even went after Catturd and tweeted, never doubt me when I call these scumbags out. Yeah, well, your audience might want to start doubting you because this is completely made up. Knowingly spreading slander isn't a good look, not to mention libelous, so you might want to delete. Well, again, it is not completely made up claim, and that tweet did force Crenshaw to backtrack after getting a community note confirming the report. And afraid of the all-powerful community notes, then Crenshaw finally says, well, to be clear, this story was from years ago. You're lying by implying we solicited illegal contributions. People sent in donations over the limit, which just means we have to go through the painstaking effort of writing every single one of them a refund check. It takes forever and is extremely tedious. Happens all the time in campaigns. When are you bottom feeders gonna find something real on me? I'm enjoying living full time in your empty little brain, Catturd. So that's a Catturd slam down, Catturd smack. That's that.
Okay, so who's right, who's wrong? Well, you just saw the facts right there. So as I look at that, look, I'm biased against Dan Crenshaw to begin with, but Yeah, brother, you did do it. It was from, wow, a couple of years back. That's not a lie to say that you did it, because you did do it. And he says, oh, well, we were busy working around the clock sending these checks back, but it took years and years, or 215 days, or however long it took to return some of the checks, right? Yeah, but brother, there's another reason to hold on to the checks until you have more checks that come in and you feel perfectly safe with all the campaign contributions you have. Then you return the ones that were over the limit, so once you feel more comfortable. And that's a more plausible explanation. Now, I'm not in that office, so I don't know exactly why they were so late in returning it, but I do know that they were late in returning it, and that they, and those checks initially helped them win in the first place. So returning them a lot later, after you've already won, right? And you've already established yourself, and you've got new campaign contributions in, is not exactly following the letter of the law, right? Let alone the spirit of the law. So, but to me, that's the smaller issue. The much larger issue is, look at this. Some right-wing MAGA guys attacking a Republican politician. So people sometimes ask me, so what's the difference, Cenk? Why are you now talking to the right wing before when you just yelled at the right wing, right? Because when I went to talk to the right wing, I would see things like this, where they were like calling out their own politicians. And people love to, now some on the left are saying, no, it's all fake. They're not actually calling out those politicians. It's just a Trump thing, etc. And they're only calling out Dick Cheney because Dick Cheney supported Kamala Harris. No, guys, they hate Dick Cheney. They've hated Dick Cheney for at least a couple of years here, for sure. And look at them fighting Dan Crenshaw, who's a neocon, right? So that to me is a much more interesting trend. And now they're calling out his campaign donors. Like, so in the old days, right-wing folks would love to say, oh, George Soros, George Soros. You say, okay, yeah, but what about Mitch McConnell's donors or Dan Crenshaw's donors? And they're like, no way, no way. Those are just good Americans, patriotic, blah, blah, blah. Same thing on the left. They call out Mitch McConnell when you get to say Nancy Pelosi's donors are like, no, 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 Nancy's an angel, and etc. Those lines are beginning to break down. So I know it's hilarious, but the fact that Catturd and Dan Crenshaw are having a fight, I think is a great sign that there's a little bit of independent thought breaking out over there.
Yeah, I have to agree with that. And it's not like it's totally new, like you're saying about Dick Cheney. They've been at odds for some time, and they've been, shooting each other in the face before Cheney made that cool.
So I don't know that that's what they dislike Cheney about. But I mean, just think about that, guys. Right now, the overwhelming percentage of majority of the right wing base, the MAGA base, hates Dick Cheney because he's started too many wars. They also didn't like the warrantless wiretapping. Maybe they're mixed on torture. I don't know. I don't want to speak for them, right? But some of them certainly objected to the torture as well. Take the win. Take the win. That's been our position for ever since Dick Cheney was around, right? The fact that they've come in that direction is amazing. The fact that they're willing to call out Dan Crenshaw, like we're willing to call out Dan Crenshaw and our own side, that's amazing. And so I don't know, I just think that's a really positive development.
Yeah, I mean, there is no purpose to fighting for any political aim, any political platform, if not to eventually win the issue, convince the populace and get that change. Otherwise, it's literally just gamesmanship and trying to forever have something to talk about. That's certainly not the purpose of what we do here. It's certainly not the purpose of what anybody that actually cares about these things should be caring about when they fight and advocate for these issues. So we should hope that every issue we care about also becomes a right-wing issue that they care about. It ticks something off the list, we can start fighting for the next thing.
100%, 100%. Let's take the win, okay? Let's unite where it makes sense, fight where it makes sense. Relatively easy concept. Thanks for watching The Young Turks, really appreciate it. Another way to show support is through YouTube memberships. You'll get to interact with us more. There's live chat emojis, badges. You've got emojis of me, Anna, John, JR, so those are super fun. But you also get playback of our exclusive member-only shows and specials right after they air. So all of that, all you gotta do is click that join button right underneath the video. Thank you.